Are you ready for this? This video was inspired by two blog posts in the past year by the blogger Taipei Geek, who actually took the time to compile a list of the biggest photography-related channels on YouTube. First in December of 2016, and then again in May of 2017. And much to my surprise, on the most recent list, I was actually number 72, sandwiched right in between the Photo Video Show and Big Head Taco. What was interesting, however, is how a new crop of YouTubers in the photo/video space have rocketed into top tier from, in some cases, literally out of nowhere. Will Rogers once said, even if you're on the right track, you'll get run over if you just sit there. And so it goes in the photography/videography space on YouTube. Because a new guard has entered the YouTube photography and videography fray. No longer can a YouTube photographer or videographer stand in his or her backyard and just simply talk about photo gear and expect worldwide glory and YouTube success. Oh no, those days are over. With one notable exception. But what's in right now is big production and or great content. And the channels that are doing those two things the best right now are winning, and they are winning big. The new era of photography/videography channel is emerging, leaving some of the old guard in the dust and in their wigs. The competition for YouTube glory is intense, and the old guard can choose to move on that track they've been so successful on, or they can just sit there and get run over. This video is all about the photographers and videographers that I see as the top 5 rising stars on YouTube in the photography/videography space. And then I'm going to talk about a few channels that have best managed or are best managing transitioning themselves from the old to the new. Included also will be a few honorable mentions and then one very huge exception to the rule. Now some disclaimers. I always do this when I do a top 5 because remember, this is an opinion piece, meaning that it's highly subjective. And I do my best to explain my methodology because the channels mentioned here are channels that I watch and enjoy frequently. And their numbers clearly demonstrate the meteoric rise in popularity of these channels. I'm just attempting to analyze what these channels are doing and why their rise has been so quick. And I also attempt to break down what's making these channels so successful. So with that out of the way, here goes. Number 5 is Joe Edelman. Though he's been around for a while, it really hasn't been for the last year or so where he's really taken off. And why? Well, for starters, the guy has a ton of energy. He also has a lot of presence and a great upbeat style. Moreover, he's creating content that appeals to newbies and to pros alike. They say experience is a great teacher, and well, Joe has over 40 years of it, and he's confident enough in himself to share just about everything with you. It's phenomenal information, extraordinarily well presented. I also like his weekly live streams as well. Number 4 is German photographer Benjamin Jaworski. What makes this guy so successful is once again excellent production value, interesting videos, and great topics and tips. And his Mauritius video is really freaking cool. That, and I've always secretly wanted to go to Mauritius. It's kind of like watching Philip Bloom, who I think is great by the way, with a host that has just a little bit more energy. Moreover, this guy runs 2 channels concurrently. Basically, it's the exact same content, but one's in English and the other is in German. He has over 252,000 subscribers on his German channel and is now approaching 65,000 subscribers on his English channel. Now, I don't always agree with his analysis and his conclusions, and frankly, he comes off as a little bit goofy and cocky simultaneously at times, but overall, I think he's doing a really great job, and he's definitely getting noticed. Number 3 is iPhoneDo. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. But anyway, this channel is definitely more video-centric, but if your career is anything like mine, my clients have been pushing me more and more into the video space, regardless of whether I wanted to go there. But I'm here now, so photography/videography channels definitely interest me. So on to iPhoneDo. Now I don't know where this guy's originally from, but I recently found this channel, and to me, he's just incredibly entertaining. His GH5 review and why he returned it was one for the ages. I mean, seriously, he's laugh out loud funny. But the bottom line is his videos are highly entertaining with great production value, and these are videos you definitely want to see. Number 2 is Mango Street. These guys arrived in January of this year, 2017, and they're already at 340,000 subscribers and 9 million views. Why? Well, because they have excellent production value and they're bringing content that both newbies and pros alike are gravitating towards. In a word, simplicity. They offer simple tips and short videos. In fact, I think their longest video is about 12 minutes. But the bottom line is, I like what they're doing, and it's obviously a winning combination. Number 1. This list simply wouldn't be complete without, well, you probably guessed it, Peter McKinnon. How meteoric was the rise of Peter McKinnon? Well, let's put it this way. At the end of 2016, Peter only had 92,000 subscribers and just under 3 million views. Now that's not insignificant, but it's downright paltry when compared to what he's done since. Because in just May of this year, in just five short months, his channel grew to 572,000 subscribers and just over 17 million views. Now fast forward to today, September 2017. His channel has now broken the 1 million subscriber mark and has over 38 million views, making him a bona fide YouTube star. So, how did he do it? Honestly, it's because he's doing some seriously epic shit. Production and footage that are consistently blowing people's minds, everything from attaching a GoPro to the landing gear of an actual helicopter while his feet are dangling out over the edge looking down. Slick music, slow motion, stellar cinematography, etc. Not to mention subject matter that's ridiculously engaging. That, and he's upbeat and positive, and his messages convey just a ton of value. So hats off, Peter. It's a job seriously well done. So now, on to the next topic. Bill Belichick, head coach of the 6-time Super Bowl champion New England Patriots, once said, "Getting to the top is really hard, but staying there is harder." So on that note, let's take a moment to take a look at the old YouTube photography / cinematography guard and see which channels have begun to make the transition to greater production value and more engaging videos to keep their audiences from venturing elsewhere. Number 5 is Photorec TV. Now, to be fair to Toby, he's always had decent production value and really good camera and lens reviews, but lately I think he sees the trend in channels and he's been upping his game production-wise as well. His transitions are really slick now. He's also matching the music to what's going on screen. And frankly, the guy is just downright likable. He's also begun this really cool photo excursion stuff to faraway places like Iceland. I mean, who doesn't want to go to Iceland these days anyway? Number 4 is Tony and Chelsea Northrup. Before I comment on this channel, I just want to say that I've never met these guys, and it's likely they probably have no idea who I am. But I just want to say that I owe Tony a huge debt of gratitude, because if you haven't seen his study guide on how to get your drone license, and if you're thinking about getting your drone license, you really need to watch that video like 3 to 4 times. It's nearly 2 hours long, but it covers more than enough stuff to help you pass the exam. So thank you, Tony. Much appreciated. And all I can say is sectional charts. Now on to their channel. I think one of the big reasons why Tony and Chelsea have been so successful is because they literally run a full-service photography channel. These guys cover everything. Full frame, crop cameras, micro four thirds, lighting, tutorials, menu tutorials that are camera specific. They do live shows with interesting topics, etc. It's pretty obvious that all they do is run this YouTube channel, and to their credit, they've managed to do it very, very well and very successfully for years. Now, they don't have the same kind of cinematic production value of, say, a Peter McKinnon, but their production value is more like Good Morning America or a local TV news hour. Multiple camera angles, great audio, etc. To me, it's just an all-around polished and consistent YouTube photography channel. Number 3 is Fro. Yep, Fro. The guy's gone from sitting behind the counter at Allen's camera and sniffing lenses to very high production value at interesting venues. Now, I don't know if he's hired a team of pros to shoot and edit his stuff, but his channel has gone in a very new and very cool direction with slick graphics, constantly changing scenery, and whether you like Fro's appearance or question his professionalism, that's his hook, and it's worked. To his credit, he also, in my opinion, he has really decent presence in front of the camera. And again, his videos over the past year, in my opinion, have taken a quantum leap forward. But sniff tests? Number 2 is the camera store. Chris Nichols and Jordan Drake have been staples and in some senses pioneers for photography enthusiasts and pros on YouTube for quite some time. They've been around about as long as the original Digital Rev guys, and as you know, Digital Rev is pretty much no more, which is a testament to Chris and Jordan's staying power. They're very consistent in their production, and frankly, it's rarely been bad. And I particularly like the way we get the photo side from Chris and the video side from Jordan. Together, in my opinion, they're a pretty dynamic duo, and their formula has worked well for a very long time. Their production value isn't quite up to that of Peter McKinnon's, but it's still pretty great, and they've managed to remain fresh, and they keep pumping out the videos with just enough scene changes and cool transitions to keep the average viewer interested. Number 1 of the channels making the transition best from old guard to new is Kai Man Wong. To me, Kai was sort of the original face of the photography YouTube channel. I remember back when he first started at Digital Rev. I thought he was, frankly, kind of hilarious. Those guys had it all. Great production, wit, humor, an interesting backdrop of Hong Kong in so many of their videos. And they just did review after review after review. They weren't super deep reviews, it was more of Kai's musings about a given lens or camera as they walked about Hong Kong. Well, as many of you know, Kai and Locke have unfortunately moved on from Digital Rev, and their breakup to me was kind of tantamount to the breakup of Wham in the 1980s. Now, no offense, Locke, but you were more like Andrew Ridgeley, and Kai was more like George Michael. Now, for all you millennials out there, Wham was huge in the 1980s. Just go to Wikipedia, it's a pretty interesting story. But anyway, Kai has since moved on and has formed Kai W. And he's really upped his production along the way. His videos are slick, consistently creative, and they're much in the same style as Digital Rev. But the backdrop is now London. Personally, I still find him incredibly entertaining, even if his reviews aren't all that deep. Now, just a couple of honorable mentions, and then I want to talk about an exception, a really big exception to the rule. There are a couple other channels out there that I think are doing a great job. First is one of YouTube's good guys, Dave Dugdale. If you're a novice videographer, it's one of the best channels on YouTube. He's humble, and he takes you through his journey on learning all of this stuff, and he does it really well. He still claims that he's not a pro, but honestly, some of the videos that he's put together on his channel are, in my opinion, are way better than what a lot of professionals, at least around here, are putting out. The other guy I want to mention is Philip Bloom. To me, he's an amazing talent. He has really deep and in-depth video camera reviews. He also has a stellar, dry, British sense of humor. I think Philip is extraordinarily talented and just great. And lastly, let's talk about the exception to the rule. You guys knew this one was coming. Probably the most unorthodox and controversial guy in the photography space on YouTube is none other than Theoria Apophasis, also known as the Angry Photographer and Ken Wheeler. Now, in full disclosure, I've personally talked to Ken on the phone, and he has a place about 45 minutes away from me in the wintertime. Now, I've often joked with him about how he and I should make a video together, and the running joke is that it would likely hurt both of our reputations. Anyway, no one has worse production value, no one has worse backdrops, but the man is a walking encyclopedia of photography knowledge. Yes, he gets ripped a lot for not posting any of his work, but I view him more as the professor who's extraordinarily knowledgeable but may not be able to do the job themselves. Because some of the best players don't always make the best coaches, and some of the best coaches weren't necessarily the best players. Ken, I think, falls into one of those two categories, but the success of his channel, which is really the purpose of this video, has been nothing short of undeniably amazing. He broke the 100,000 subscriber barrier and has something like 28 million views. That puts him in the upper echelon of YouTubers in the photography space. Granted, he's pumping out more videos on more topics than just about anyone could ever keep up with, except for maybe rabbits. I don't know how he does it, but he does. And regardless of how you feel about him, it's undeniable that his formula is clearly working. So that's it. Just my take on the current state of the photography channel business on YouTube, so what say you? I'm Darren Miles with Darren Miles Photography, based here in beautiful, sunny Southwest Florida. We survived Irma, and I'm back. So if you like these reviews or like videos like this, please don't forget to subscribe, or better yet, give me a thumbs up. And thank you so much for watching. Until the next time, happy shooting.